That's important too. I understand that things like when you get into subjects that are off the wall, like astral projection and out of body experiences and things like this, and even telepathy. I know that these things are all real because I've experienced them myself. I've had these sort of astral projection sort of things, and I also know that by doing certain there are actually exercises you can do if you want to do that sort of thing. I was doing like certain things at one point, and they'll make that thing, they'll make you able to do that sort of thing. So I understand the reality of them. And I also understand that they're a reflection. Whatever happens in the astral realm or whatever is a reflection of the deepest level of your psyche, the deepest level of your spirit. It can be good, it can be tough, but it's real.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I'm trying to work on is to real discipline and ownership of thoughts when you're involving others that are alive right now and friends, because there is this telepathic connection that's operating somehow, some way, that's driving behavior, and people... Facebook is almost, it really, for those that are psychically inclined, like myself, you, and others, like you'll think about someone and they will respond or text you, or you'll be thinking about someone because they're thinking about you, and then you'll get online and they'll contact you. It gets, I don't want to say overwhelming, but it's just like the synchronicities have increased the last couple of years. It seemed like a couple of years ago, it was with people seeing numbers and 111 on the clock and 333 and things like that. And then it kind of transformed into something else. I don't really see the numbers anymore on the clock, but then again, I don't have clocks around me. But there was a point in 2003 when I was listening to Coast, and they're talking about these numbers in the early awakening, and people were saying, well, that's the wake-up call. That's that, it's time to start being who you are. But the dark side of that is, you know, people are really, any anger thoughts or things like that about people, they will pick up on them somehow, some way. So that's pretty important, the ownership over thoughts and actions. Yeah.
A lot of it is the old adage, seek and ye shall find. That's so true, because whatever you're looking for, be it the numbers, you'll see them, or be it whatever emotional state you're in, you'll find deeper aspects of that when you go looking. It's to say, okay, I want to find out the global conspiracy or whatever. It's just generally speaking, you'll find a bunch of information online, because that's, to me, that's one of the fundamental truths. That whatever you direct your attention to, that's how it is. It's so basic and like easy to understand and obvious, but at the same time, it's something that will go over people's heads and is taken for granted.
Yeah, it is very much taken for granted, which is why the focus is important, because our focus is so strong to go away from, at times, waking people up, like people that don't want to be woken up, and then spending more quality time. And this is why I really respect people like, should have gave him a plug, Vinny Eastwood. Yeah, he comes across as a spiritual being. He reminds me of Gandalf from Lord of the Rings, probably because he's New Zealand, but he has a certain esoteric spiritual side of him that's like, man, why you gotta be powerless? You have all the power in the world. He's like a fucking Mr. Leprechaun, you know. But the point is, that guy believes in himself, and the fact is, he's made his website simple, contribute $5 a month and get all my archives, and he's done the work, and he's never given up, and so he has built around him a very strong field of energy as a truther. You know, he doesn't spend all his time around the streets megaphoning and things like that, something I do less and less now. It's pointless. It's fun as a spiritual practice to go, wake up! And I might do some of that at the RNC. I'm going to the RNC in 2 weeks. But,
no.
I'm going to be trying to play journalist and interview people and film people, and then maybe I might not do the bullhorning, but the fact is, I feel drawn to be there, you know, to be there for that experience and to see whatever's going to happen. And hopefully nothing will happen, but there's obviously going to be a lot of emotions down there, and riot cops and... Yes.
I love being in the middle of stuff like that, too.
Yeah.
Back when I was living in Ohio and I was doing the cable access show, I was actually in school still. I lived in the campus area of the Ohio State University, huge school. And there were multiple riots that happened in sort of the areas where students lived, you know, on city streets, there would be these parties that they'd have block parties, and everybody was drunk. The entire street was filled with kids who were drunk. Okay. So, you know, what's the situation? Bad situation. What do the police do? Silly me, in my head, I would think that the police would just close off the street and have no traffic and go down there, because what else can you do? You know what I mean? It's a bunch of drunk kids. You're not going to be able to do anything with them. Well, they do that, but they also decide to come in with full riot gear and start shooting tear gas and rubber bullets at a bunch of drunk college students.
Right.
Boy, I wonder what's going to happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? And this would happen. It happened like 2 weeks in a row, and then like a month after that, there was another one. This is all in a short span of time, a bunch of them. I was right down in the thick of it, videotaping it. I still have the video to this day. And that was a turning point for me personally. It's like, okay, I can see that the administrative decisions by the police are suspect, in that it doesn't make any sense why they would be doing this. So it leads me to wonder, you know, is there some sort of other motivation, other project going on that I'm not aware of? But also the media coverage of the event was so slanted, like, these kids were horrible, the police needed to come in and teach them what's right, and we got to expel some of these kids. I'm like, well, that's not very balanced reporting of what I saw. Like, okay, there were a bunch of drunk idiots, and yes, they threw bottles at police, and that's not good, but they were provoked. You know, it's like kicking a wild pit bull and expecting it not to bite you.
Yeah, I've read stories or heard stories from people that have gone to these insane clown posse concerts.
Yes.
And they'll just come in and be like, all right, man, you guys ready to fight? Because we're here. And they're like, oh, no. Yeah, or there was a story about in probably Florida, I think, or somewhere else, Walmart raided or just flash mob of a bunch of children, really, in adult bodies, just tearing stuff up, running over stuff. Well, they got kicked out of a house party. The police raided that, and all that did is just send them to Walmart.
Yeah, ICP, that's funny you bring that up. ICP is like, it's kind of a near and dear thing to my heart. I've always been fascinated by the subject, by the Juggalo movement. Of course, there's a lot of...
Gwar?
Gwar. Actually, I used to be a big fan of Gwar myself when I was in school. I used to love Gwar. I do.
Yeah.
And I still think that their music is pretty good, too. They've got some good songs there. So I'm... The thing about Juggalos is I like a lot of them personally, and I kind of respect where they're coming from, but there's also highly... It's a cult. It's a cult, and there's a lot of unhealthy emotional stuff going on, a lot of like follower ideology, a lot of unhealthy things going on there, but at the same time, and it's endlessly fascinating to me, the Juggalos thing. That's it. Yeah,
it is. It's pretty crazy. Yeah, it's I just gravitate away from that, but I understand the mosh pit type of. I went to Rob Zombie once. I like old school Metallica, you know, but I can feel the vibrations coming off the chords. I think Horowitz is an interesting character. I think he's changed from the Horowitz that he was. Now he's running around just saying everything is a conspiracy. Everyone in the movement's part of the COINTELPRO. But he's talked extensively about the healing aspects of water, of sound in particular, 528 hertz. And that's important because you listen to these sound frequencies, these lower bass, boom, boom, and it just brings out, you know, and sometimes lower aspects of the lower chakras. And so it should be like a very interesting anthropological study to look at men in the last couple of decades feeling drawn to come into these circles. And similar to Iraq, where they're going like this, and they're beating themselves, you know, doing this thing. Well, how is that different than going to a mosh pit and just slamming your body back and forth and back and forth, and acting like you're a reincarnated barbarian. So it just shows like our link to the ancient world and how much we still really have yet to evolve, despite all this technology. Not to put anyone down that moshes.
Yeah. Well, a lot of it's just teen angst.
Yeah, it's teen angst. It's hormonal. It's actually normal. It's quite natural. It could just easily be led astray, especially when you look at maybe there can be controllers over the mob mind, where you see people that are kind of they're going to war with the people on stage now. You know, you like the show so much, you're throwing bottles at the stage. This makes total sense. They got you pumped up. Now you're gonna kill the people that provide you with music. Oh, now we got to put up a cage. Enter Roger Waters, you know, who spoke a lot about how he felt alienated from his audience. Pink Floyd, how some of the things they were singing about, you know, "Hey You" and some of the other songs from The Wall, you know, just about feeling that separation from their own audience. You know, and there was a book I read called "Which One's Pink," and it was deep. It was early, also my awakening, reading Roger Waters' opinion on the world. Mm-hmm. So I think there's a reason why there's a lot of Pink Floyd fans in the movement.
Oh yeah, I could go on about music forever. Like just the dynamic of the characters on the stage to the crowd. I've seen a lot of disturbing characters on stage saying very strange things, actually. Mm-hmm. I know I saw Echo and the Bunnymen at a festival once, that old 80s band. And the singer, I'd never seen him before. I mean, I knew their music, but I wasn't ready for this. The singer came off as like the most pompous jerk you could ever imagine. You know what I mean? He was like insulting his band members. He was insulting the audience.
Right.
You know what I mean? And there's just like this weird antagonism. I don't know. There's a whole lot more going on, but it's just like, what the hell?
Right.
And then, of course, you've got the devolution of music now where it's just so basic. The beats are so basic. And I find that everything's repeated. Everything's super repetitive. They'll basically say one thing. I mean, a chorus is one thing, but they just repeat the one thing the whole song, and the same beat's like ding, 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 very simplistic, ding, 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 and it puts you in a trance state. It does. Repetitive sound will put your mind in a trance state.
What's that? Scions?
Scions?
Yeah, is that what you said?
Oh,
repetitive what?
Oh, repetitive sounds.
Oh, repetitive sounds.
So if you have a, trance music, that's what it is. It's a repetitive sound.
Yeah. Yeah.
Literally, it'll put you into a trance.
Right. And there's been times where I have done mushrooms, where I have heard that techno in my head. I just really want to make music. So there's something about that does take you somewhere natural. But I think in that state, that's a point where, that's where the embedded messages come in, and the people have really felt it, especially since the rise of these synthetic voices that are singing. No longer real voices or real chords, but gaga, ball, and gag whores on stage begging for master to come beat them. And so they add the chords to that. They bring out the really, I won't say prostitutes, but they bring out the musical sex workers that are engaging in the sex magic on stage, and it creates a ritual. Man,
well, they have songs about S&M now. What's her name? The Rihanna, and Rihanna is an interesting character because she has a bunch of. If you listen to the lyrics of her songs, it's all about how she is masochistic, where she likes being punished by men. All her lyrics. She's like, "Ooh, I like it rough," and all that stuff. There's tons of songs like that. And then you have this news story where she gets beaten by her boyfriend.
Right.
Who sort of corresponds to it.
Isn't that Eminem playing a part in that? I think Eminem is in a song with Rihanna where he's playing the abuser.
Yeah, you just see the same themes. Like, and then there's this campaign like end domestic abuse. Like, so they come up with this like silly campaign, but at the same time, all of her lyrics continue to be, "Oh, I love being abused." So it's like, what is this all about?
The worst part is when you present this truth to females. And then there's more awake now than I will say last year to some of these things. And they will straight up flip out and say that you are the one trying to suppress their liberation. And just like, whoa. Whoa. All right, I'm gonna let you go, and I'm gonna put that interview online, and
yeah. Post your version of it.
Right.